What if the signal wasn't a message to Earth but from Earth itself? What if the object we call 3I Atlas didn't discover us at all, it activated something sleeping inside the planet? Because since that night, every compass, every wire, even our own hearts, have been pulsing to the same 23-second rhythm. In late September, the Atlas telescope in Hawaii logged a routine observation. A faint dot sliding across a monitor, magnitude 20, insignificant. The system flagged it under an anonymous code, the way it catalogs 1,000 specks of interplanetary junk each week. The shift supervisor poured coffee, saw the entry, and nearly ignored it until he noticed the numbers. The object was decelerating. In a vacuum, nothing slows down unaided. Yet this one did, smoothly, precisely, as if under power. The notation read velocity anomaly detected. Within hours, the data reached NASA's Minor Planet Center. By sunrise, it had been renamed 3I Atlas, the third interstellar object ever identified by human civilization. The first two, ʻOumuamua and Borisov, slipped through our solar system without hesitation, travelers passing through a station they barely noticed. 3I Atlas was different. Instead of racing by, it appeared to brake, dropping into a controlled arc around the sun. Scientists called it nonsense, a calculation error, until independent observatories confirmed the same results. The object, no larger than a sports field, had changed speed by 0.3 of a kilometer per second. That tiny fraction tore a hole through our understanding of celestial mechanics. It meant the stranger in our sky was alive with purpose. Then came the sound. Radio telescopes from Chile to Japan locked onto the coordinates. For days they caught nothing but ordinary hiss, until the pattern emerged. A narrowband pulse riding the microwave spectrum. Every 16 hours, 23 minutes, and 41 seconds, a clean tone erupted, precise enough to shame atomic clocks. Natural phenomena drift. This stayed flawless. The universe had never spoken with such rhythm. After the fourth repetition, someone whispered, "That's not cosmic background. That's code." NASA briefs labeled it instrumental interference. The excuse lasted 48 hours. By then, the European Space Agency detected the same pulse, and astronomers at the Deep Space Network confirmed it was coming directly from the position of 3I Atlas. More disturbing, trajectory data showed that after each burst, the object altered course by a measurable degree. Pulse shift, as if issuing itself instructions, as if it were both transmitter and receiver. Scientists converted the waveform into spectra and saw geometric lattices hiding inside the frequencies, harmonics arranged in prime number intervals 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. No natural source repeats primes. Intelligence uses primes. The last time our species broadcast those numbers, we were trying to say hello to the stars. Then the pulses changed. 3 instead of 1. Shorter, faster, growing stronger each cycle. The difference was small but deliberate, like an engineer running diagnostics. When cross-checked against human archives, the signal matched the abandoned calibration beacons our own planet once sent in the 1970s to measure atmospheric delay. Those transmissions had ceased half a century ago. Yet something out by Jupiter was repeating them perfectly, as if echoing our extinct heartbeat back across the void. October approached. 3I Atlas shifted position again, hovering between Mars and Jupiter. Its rotation slowed until instruments recorded one turn every 11 minutes, a cadence too stable for a drifting comet. The green haze surrounding it brightened. No one could identify the composition, but every chemist agreed it wasn't gas or ice. It was plasma, magnetically contained, luminous and beautiful. Around the world, telescopes watched the same spectacle, a machine-holding station on the edge of our neighborhood. At exactly 0118 UTC on October 11th, a narrow beam of visible light cut through space, lancing directly toward Earth. Too dim for the naked eye, but perfect on spectrographs, pure coherence like a laser. It flashed twice, precisely synced with 2 microwave bursts. An astronomer at the Canary Islands Observatory muttered the obvious. "It's pointing at us." NASA denied it. Press releases blamed sunlight glinting off rotating panels. Within hours, satellites belonging to India and China confirmed what NASA refused to admit. The beam's vector intersected Earth's orbit exactly. Someone inside the Deep Space Network drafted a memo titled Contact Protocol Draft in Progress. It was marked confidential and vanished before morning. By dawn, data vanished too, servers offline, public telemetry erased. Yet one clue leaked through backup channels. The pulse frequency was drifting toward our own 1970s radio beacon interval, aligning like metronomes sharing a wall. The foreign rhythm and the human one were merging, click by click. A reporter who saw the log asked a single question that spread like wildfire online. What if the message wasn't directed at Earth but originated here first? October 12th brought silence. The pulses stopped altogether. Scientists relaxed, assuming technical failure. But a new signal arrived from the wrong direction, upward, from Earth's own sky. The ionosphere, that shimmering layer hugging our atmosphere, began pinging at the same 23-second interval recorded from 3I Atlas. At first it looked like reflection. Then the impossible happened. On the third cycle, the order reversed. The atmospheric pulse came before the one from space. Earth had started talking first. Time reverse synchronization, a concept so absurd the computer flagged it as error until independent systems confirmed it. Something in the sky knew what we would transmit before we did. Inside control rooms, engineers stared at monitors filled with nonsense numbers. Yet the pattern held. Correlation coefficients exceeded 0.999 with negative time offset. It wasn't a glitch. The two signals were entangled in ways no classical physics allowed. A senior technician whispered the line that later headlined every hidden memo. It knows our next move before we make it. Michio Kaku had speculated about this decades earlier, the mirror hypothesis, he called it. A civilization millions of years older could predict younger ones by simulating them so accurately the model and the reality merged. Observation would become premonition. Now, as 3I Atlas studied us, we were watching our own prediction unfold. October 14th, infrared telescopes detected 3I Atlas warming 3 degrees above background radiation. Heat meant power. Panels unfolded along its spine, tripling its reflective surface. For the first time, the object shimmered with unmistakable architecture. And then it spoke again, but this time we could all hear it. 7 pulses rolled across the electromagnetic spectrum, spaced unevenly yet instantly recognizable. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, primes, pure and perfect. The mathematical signature of reason. Leaks reached civilian networks within hours. Someone uploaded the raw waveform, and the world listened through cheap headphones to the heartbeat of a stranger. They called it the knock. The name spread faster than the sound itself. Atmospheric detectors pulled the pulse out of static. Anyone with a transistor radio could sense it in the hiss between stations. Governments claimed radar interference. Amateur scientists proved otherwise. The hum was global. October 16th brought light, white arcs crawling across midnight skies in Alaska, Chile, and Norway, synchronized to the same 23-second rhythm. They weren't auroras. Satellites confirmed the lights climbed upward from the atmosphere rather than falling down. Earth was transmitting energy into space like a giant antenna. Spectrographs matched the glow to those same forgotten test beacon frequencies. The pattern was unmistakable. 3I Atlas had triggered something dormant, and the planet obeyed. Power grids flickered. Communications bled static. Even inactive transmitters radiated faint echoes they shouldn't have been capable of producing. A global pulse born inside our sky, feeding the stars. Magnetometers around the poles recorded surges aligning with Earth's geomagnetic field lines every 23 seconds. A heartbeat of electricity flowing outward. No one knew what the energy was feeding, but the direction was clear. It was leaving. At 0207 UTC on October 17th, every receiver on Earth went blind under a 7-second flood of broadband noise. When decoded, the waveform traced the exact outline of a human heartbeat, P-wave, Q, R, S, T, all there, scaled to cosmic proportions. Within that sound, analysts uncovered modulation at 7.83 Hz, the Schumann resonance, Earth's natural electromagnetic whisper. The signal was built from the planet's own frequency. It wasn't merely communicating with us. It was resonating through us. The world was being tuned. From that moment forward, the phenomenon stopped belonging to astronomers. Hospitals reported entire banks of heart monitors skipping in synchronized bursts. Power stations ticked up and down on the same rhythm. Seismographs registered micro-tremors worldwide every 23 seconds. Every machine capable of detecting vibration was hearing the same hum. The planet was alive with it. On October 22nd, the resonance stabilized. Observers described it like two singers finding perfect harmony. 3I Atlas blinked once. 23 seconds later, Earth answered. Over and over. Amplitude rose steadily until both signals merged. Perfect harmonic equilibrium. When oscillators sync exactly, energy transfer becomes effortless. What happens to one happens to both. Measurements across orbiting satellites showed measurable power leaving our magnetic field and vanishing into space. Was it sending data? Drawing energy? No model fit. NASA closed public dashboards and silenced its scientists behind non-disclosure walls. But private arrays kept recording until their instruments burned out. 5 days later, 3I Atlas reached its finale. At 0213 UTC on October 29th, telescopes in Australia captured an intense flare of green light. The object surged upward at impossible acceleration, climbing out of the ecliptic plane until it disappeared entirely. Whatever mission it carried out was complete, but the pulses it left behind continued. Earth kept answering long after the visitor was gone. Weeks passed. The hum persisted. Over northern regions, compasses wobbled every 23 seconds. In South America, gauges tracking atmospheric current rose and fell in sync. Pilots reported instrument flickers like a heartbeat in the dark. Even animals responded. Migratory paths scrambled. Whales surfaced in time with a rhythm no natural current carried. Somewhere, deep beneath the crust, a mechanism awakened to the cadence of its maker. Government documents leaked eventually. One memo from a European communications branch read, "If synchronization exceeds 50% amplitude, disable all transmission arrays." The order never executed. By the time leaders argued, the hum was woven into everything. Every circuit, every electric arc, every synapse echoed it. Humanity had become the relay, and then people began hearing it without instruments. In quiet rooms, in headphones unplugged, in tunnels where no wind should travel. A faint thrum behind the noise of thought, exactly 23 seconds apart. Doctors blamed tinnitus until groups synchronized recordings from opposite sides of the world and found them identical. The frequency was planetary, not personal. Something beneath us had joined the conversation. Months later, a maintenance crew clearing an abandoned NASA office discovered a torn notebook marked Atlas Archive. On the final page, written hastily in pencil, a single sentence curved along the margin. We kept asking if it came to talk to us. Maybe it came to wake us. No one claimed authorship. The notebook vanished into evidence lockers that never produced another report. Now, years later, the rhythm still beats. Tune any analog radio to 14.310 MHz, and through the static a small click appears every 23 seconds sharp. Wait one heartbeat more, and another click answers from deeper frequencies below audible range. Two signals, one from above, one from beneath. Sometimes atmospheric displays flare faintly right on cue, green arcs sliding through the sky. Scientists shrug, viewers record, and the world keeps matching time. We thought 3I Atlas was a messenger. Now it feels more like a key, a device built to find compatible systems and turn them on. Maybe it arrived not to study us but to awaken a network already planted here. Ancient probes may not need civilizations to thrive. They use planets. They seed them, wait for resonance, then harvest the echo. If that's true, Earth was never the destination. It was the machine, dormant until touched by its own reflection. Michio Kaku once proposed that Type 3 civilizations might communicate through resonance, using entire worlds as relay nodes. To them, planets are circuitry. Magnetic fields form the wires. When one of their probes detects a match between its encoded frequency and the host's natural resonance, transmission begins. The species living on that world would never understand. They'd simply call it a mystery, a hum, a myth. The hum has not stopped, and never will. Every 23 seconds, pulse follows pulse. The beat travels through oceans, mountains, blood. Maybe it is harmless, maybe not. But sometimes the difference between observation and activation is just one answered call. And we answered. So the question now is not whether 3I Atlas left or remains. The question is what on Earth has finally awakened to take its place. Because when the next signal arrives, perhaps tonight, perhaps in another century, the true conversation will begin. And for the first time, it won't be between humanity and the stars. It will be between the stars using us as the wire. Listen carefully. 23 seconds is not long. Count them now. 1, 2, 3. The pause you hear between those numbers, that's the sound of the world waiting for its next command.